Let us not go into long introductions. We don't require long introductions when you have a man of the calibre as our next guest is. Please welcome Sir Harry Secombe. Welcome, welcome.
Nice to see you again, Bert.
You said just before the show that I'd put a little bit of
a little touch here and there.
What's the secret?
Eat as much as you like, but don't swallow. That's the secret.
Everything's going well, Harry. Good reviews this morning in the Herald. Andrew Boll gives you a beautiful review.
I didn't see it, isn't it?
Excellent. There's lovely things.
By half a dozen at once.
So what about the shows? Enjoying them?
I am indeed. Yeah, I always like coming out here. It's 3 years since I was here last. So the jokes are new again.
Not the audiences. Well, I mean, of course, some new audience members too. But the thing about, the Hilton was telling me, the thing about you when you come over to do a concert is that there's a block that book immediately because there are so many Harry Secombe fans.
That's nice, isn't it?
And the bloke in the Herald says one thing which I think is very true of you as a performer, that you've got this power to radiate warmth and also communicate with an audience. So obviously to you it's pretty important to like your audience before you entertain.
I think you have to. I mean, there was one famous American comedian called Leonard, I think his name was. He used to come out and say, "Good evening, opponents," to his audience, because he hated them. You know? But you can't do that. You get out and love them. I mean, let's face it, they pay your wages, don't they?
Exactly.
So the important thing, I think, when you go out front is to make it like a party, so that everybody enjoys themselves. Our function as comics is to make people forget themselves for a while. That's why they're there, and that's our job.
Did you always know you were going to be a comic?
I think so. I think I was quite a sickly lad. Surprising now, isn't it? The size of me now, but when I was a boy, I had everything. I had measles and chicken pox, and also the spots were queuing to form. So I think it became a sort of protective thing. You made people laugh so they wouldn't thump you. Then I got a bit bigger. I took bodybuilding courses, and I was able to thump people and make them laugh. Or thump them if they didn't laugh, which is easier.
We also know, of course, that you and the Goons together made some wonderful radio shows and theatrical performances and so on. But we don't know very much about the start of your theatrical career. How did you get into the business?
Well, I began like lots of kids in my day, because the sort of focal point of all social activity was the church hall in my day. And you did impressions of the vicar or whatever the radio comics were of the day, and you went out and performed. You know, it was an actual thing. It wasn't vicarious. You weren't watching other people do it. You went and did it yourself. And then when the war came along, I became the sort of regimental idiot. I did concerts within the regiment, and I met Milligan, and there's a whole bunch of us came out from army concert parties just after the war, and we're all different, and all of us sort of succeeded. Hancock, Sellers, Milligan, Benteen, Tommy Cooper, Bygrave's Wisdom, all were service concert party members.
And this sort of replaced the old school of Arthur Askey and Tommy Trinder.
That's right, because we got a bit fed up with the established comedy. Everybody was doing a sort of routine of jokes, stand-up comedy, and I thought, we thought it's time it was changed. I did a shaving act. My act consisted of showing how different people shaved. I brought up 3 kids on that. And I did a sort of impression of Janet MacDonald and Nelson Eddy singing a duet. Yeah. I can't do it now. But I used to go around, blow raspberries in the middle. Because that was my defense mechanism. If a joke didn't go very well, I'd blow raspberries, and I was first. I was first. It saved, getting the raspberry from the audience.
What about Spike Milligan? He's not in the country, so you can answer truthfully. Is he crazy?
Well, he's a genuine manic depressive from the war. It's quite sad. But it seemed to have done him good.
It's made him a few bob, hasn't it?
But yeah, he's a lovely lad. Well, he lives up a tree in YY,
Is he good company?
No, he's a branch manager. I'm sorry. Oh, he's great company. He's great fun to be with. But you've got to accept Spike for what he is.
And what is he?
Well, he's somebody who espouses lost causes. I mean, I was once, I'll tell you a story. I was once filming in Norway in the middle of a blizzard, and the place we were filming had no phone. The nearest phone was a quarter of a mile away in a lodge. Urgent phone call from me from London. I thought, what's happened? The wife's dead, the kids, anything. So I went down my Captain Oates through this blizzard, picked up the phone, and it was Milligan. He said, will you do me the voice of an elephant? I said, yes. He said, thank you. And that was it. Another time, again, he rang me up and he said, I want £1,000. I said, what for? He said, to save an elephant. I said, ring me up when he's saving mice. But, but that's the way he is. You know,
but he's fair dinkum about his conservation interests.
Oh, yes, he's genuinely very keen on it. And he's made a lot of sacrifices as well for it.
What about the late Peter Sellers? What sort of man was he?
Peter was a perfectionist. He was never completely happy with what he did. So he was never... if he'd give a performance, he always felt he could do it better next time. He could never recreate. He always had to create, so he's no good in the theatre. He could never do the same thing over and over. He always had to find something new to do. So when he went into films, that was the best thing in the world for him.
Did they get along, Spike and Peter?
Yes, they did. I mean, there were times when they threatened to strangle each other, but they were good lads. The one that left us, Michael Benteen, he and Spike used to have the same kind of ideas, because Benteen throws off ideas like sparks of a Catherine wheel.
He used to do crazy things too, didn't he?
Yes, yeah, we're a very funny bloke. Very funny.
What sort of things? Huh?
Well, he was the only Peruvian born on the Watford bypass, for a start. But
what do you mean by that?
He was half Peruvian. Yes, straight like a joke, but he was half Peruvian. And, well, he believes things, and he, like a Walter Mitty complex. I was once driving through Birmingham with him. We came across an old lady, it's a true story, an old lady just been knocked down. So we get out the car, and he immediately takes over, and he said, just a moment. He said, take your coat off, he said to a bloke. The fellow takes his coat off, puts it on the old lady's head, and then they send for an ambulance. And as the ambulance, they're taking the lady back into put her in the back of the ambulance, one of the fellows says, well, are you coming with us to the hospital, doctor? He said, I am a doctor, yes, but not of medicine. So he was like Walter Mitty. I mean, he really did all the right things, but, he believed he was a doctor. And
why did he leave the Goons and left it to you three?
Well, he left it because he felt that Spike and he were having the same kind of ideas all the time, and both claiming the idea was his. And he thought it would be the best thing to do was to leave. And actually it worked then, because with just the three of us rather than the four, the format seemed to be a slimmer one, and it worked better.
How does it feel to be part of history, as you are with me?
I feel like an old monument.
No, but really.
I never think of it that way. We didn't think of it like that at the time. We had no idea of what people thought. We just did these funny gags like Ying Tong Inline Paul, and you go out in the street and everybody was saying it in a week's time. That was the power of radio. It's quite frightening.
Mm-hmm. A lot of money? Did you make a lot of money from it?
No, I didn't know. I think we got 10 guineas to start with. 10 quid. A lot of money in those days, but not enough, But it was great fun to do.
Harry, you travel the world. Everyone loves seeing you.
I travel the world.
But I know that Australia is very important to you, isn't it?
It is. I find coming here is like recharging the batteries. It's 3 years since I was here. And I'd forgotten till I went out on stage in Adelaide on Monday how warm the audiences can be. And I remember the first time I came out here, the first time I ever got a standing ovation. I thought it was mass cramp. And people all got up.
Well, the first time ever?
Yeah, really marvellous.
You didn't receive one in England before that?
No, they don't believe it over there. They just sit and clap, and that's your lot, mate.
Yeah. Well, you'll get many here in Australia for many years to come, I'm sure, Harry. It's great to see you again, and also particularly good to see you looking so good, and obviously your health is now, once again, 100%.
In good nick, sir.
Thank you, Harry.
Thank you. Nice talking to you.
Lovely. Sir Harry Secombe.